everyone, it's Beck here from Design Release. Today I wanted to share with you 5 designer tips on how to zhuzh up a child's bed space in the midst of a bigger, perhaps room makeover, particularly a little girl, but doesn't have to be. And I wanted to share those tips with you on this video as well. Before we jump in, the 5 points are create a canopy, include lots of mood lighting, upcycle a bed of your choice, remember to include linen that complements your overall colour scheme, and choose lots of cushions of different shapes and sizes. They're my 5 tips, and they are working really well for my daughter, and I hope that they can be of help to you as well. So in terms of creating a canopy, we all know that canopies, little girls love them, but they can be quite expensive. So if you're up for making one yourself, the way that I did it was head to a store like Spotlight and have a look at their curtain range, and you'll find that they have lots of beautiful colours that are quite on trend, and lots of different options in terms of sheer or thick fabrics. And so what I did and what I recommend is choose two different types of fabrics to make your canopy. So you could look for a more affordable curtain for your inner fabric, and then you could look for the perfect type of sheer outer fabric that you want, that could be a little bit more expensive, and that is going to be the material that you'll see when you walk into the room. So I recommend 2 different types of fabrics so that your canopy is not see-through, and it really creates that beautiful space of cocooning and enclosing, which I find little people really love. Now, to create the top of the canopy, I just made a wire frame, but my tip for this is to, before you tie off your wire in a circle, make sure that your curtains actually fit all the way around the frame, because if you've got a lot of fabric, you might find that your circle top frame actually needs to be bigger. So that's a tip for you. And then to attach it to the ceiling, I just used 3 pieces of quite thick ribbon, sort of in a tripod. Just test it a little bit, make sure that you get it horizontal, and to attach that to a hook in your ceiling. So that's really my tip for you on creating the canopy. My second point is to include lots of mood lighting. Like, we all know that mood lighting makes a huge difference to any space really, but anyone with a little girl or little girls in their lives know how much they love fairy lights or some sort of variation of fairy lights. So for my little girl, I chose just some fairy lights from IKEA, and I just threaded them through the top of the canopy and just coming down either side of the canopy as it opens, and because there's a power point nearby to her bed, so that works really well. Now, if that doesn't work for you, then find a spot in the room. It might be along a mantelpiece or above a floating shelf or around the window, or some sort of space in the room where you can incorporate some sort of fairy lights. I think your little girl will thank you for it. Now, my third tip is to upcycle a bed of your choice. So you might already have an existing bed that just needs a bit of a freshen up. So you could look at reupholstering an existing bed head, or you could spray paint a metal bed, like a different colour, or else you could head to Marketplace or Gumtree, where we all tend to head when we're looking to choose another piece of furniture, maybe in a more affordable way. So this is what we did, and we chose a really lovely IKEA bed, like a loft bed that we painted, and it came up an absolute treat. Now, one tip for you, and this is a mistake that we made, is that we just used wall paint for the bed, and what's happening is some paint is peeling off. So we're going to go back and refix that, but don't make that mistake. Make sure you use the right paint for the right application. So look for a semi-gloss, or chat to your hardware salesperson about what is the best paint, hardy paint for a bed, because it's getting used a lot. So that is my third tip. My fourth tip is choose linen that complements the colour scheme in your room. So colour wheels are great, and you can get one of these. Have a look online to have a think about perhaps your 3 main colours in the room. When it comes to wall paint, sometimes less is more. It doesn't mean that you can't go for a lot of colour if you love a lot of colour, but perhaps if you're going to go with a lot of colour, Use it on all four walls, and then allow that colour to sort of dictate what you're going to do with the bed linen and the cushions and those sorts of things. Once you've nailed down your specific colours that you're going to use in the space, then choose your bed linen from those colours. So it doesn't have to be full saturation of the colour. It could be a muted, more greyed down version of that colour, but then you'll step away and the room will really feel beautiful and cohesive, which is what you're after. And my last tip is include lots of cushions with different shapes and sizes. When I say lots of cushions, that's a personal choice, and it depends obviously how many cushions you want to put back on the bed, or teach your little girl to put on the bed herself. But when it comes to a really great designer tip, think of cushions of different sizes and different shapes. Use some circular cushions, some rectangular, more long rectangular cushions, and then bigger, squarer cushions, just to create that interest, and so that everything doesn't start just to look the same. And when it comes to different sizes, it's good to think about the smaller cushions at the front, to think about what is the main colour or the main pattern that I'm going for, and I want that to be my front cushion so that people can see that, and then go for a slightly bigger cushion behind it, then you can see a bit of that colour behind, and then if you're even going to go another one again, think of that next colour that comes even behind that. And then when you can visualise how all the different shapes and colours work together, suddenly you've got a really lovely space that's coming together, and that's just the bed. So they are my 5 tips. I hope that it's helpful. If you need any more tips on maybe the canopy, or if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, you can hop onto my website, and there's the blog post in written form with all that same information, if that is helpful for you. But also there's lots of other blogs on there on all sorts of things to do with interior design, and that you might find of interest, that might be helpful to you. So thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye bye.